All right, well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Andy Mohr Field. We've got a really fun day scheduled here as Indiana takes on Marian. We've got the executive director of the Eye Association with us, Curt Simic. My name's Harrell. Got a good one here, guys. Softball game going on behind us as we get ready here to celebrate 50 years of Indiana softball. Brian,
yes. Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome back. So great to have Eye Association live at another one of our great events here. We've partnered with Women's Softball Program to put on a reunion celebrating the 50th year of IU softball, of IU varsity softball. The first varsity season was the 1972-73 school year. And so we brought back basically representatives from each era of IU softball. Some of the coaches, Gail Blevins is here. Carol Hutchins, who was Michigan's coach for years and years, and in fact is the winningest D1 coach in NCAA history. Started her career with Gail Blevins as an assistant here at IU.
Yeah, and I think she just walked in. I think she just did. She took off that way. So.
Well, but it's great. We had a great reception last night, a nice time at Dick's. They've had a golf outing this morning, this game today, and then a gala banquet tonight. It's going to be a wonderful weekend.
That's awesome. Well, we're excited to be here, and I know you're excited for the whole weekend. You're busy man. So, but they're introducing everybody right now and we're showing them out there right now. Our goal is to have some of them up here during the game, if not most of them. So, it's a.
From 2001.
We'll let you enjoy that for a minute, and we'll take a break.
From 2016, Cassie Farmer. From 2022, Natalie Ford. From 2022, Brittany Ford. From 1994, Margaret Gassa. From 2021, Emily Gooden. From 1983, Tony Gray. From 1981, Carol Hutchins. From 1981, Jake Jadowski. From 1968, Ellen J. From 2021, Gabby Jenkins. From 2003, Catherine Joy. An assistant coach from 1987, Ann Kastorf. From 2018, Emily Kirk. Hall of Fame coach until 1983, Ann Lover. From 1996, Sarah Leach. From 1986, Pam Lee. From 2018, Taylor Littlejohn. From 1975, Jean McGrain. From 1988, Kim Louise McKeon. From 2000, Stacy Meek. From 2001, Morgan Mello. From 2002, Brooke Monroe. An All-American in 1997, Meg Montgomery. An All-American in 1987, Carlene Moore. From 1989, Vicki Moore. From 2009, Sarah Padov. From 2020, Michaela Pabrota. From 1976, Bella Price. From 2022, Grayson Radcliffe. From 2013, Samantha Riley. From 1985, Nancy Savage. From 2001, Melissa Schaefer. From 1984, Sherry Shaftlin. From 1981, Meg Sang. Jenny Spencer. From 1982, Kathleen Spabrock. From 2002, Allison Stroll. From 2000, Heather Suka. From 1981, Patricia Boswell Tapley. From 1993, Ann Tuttle. an All-American from 1996, Gina Hugo Neff. From 1995, an All-American, Hall of Famer, and Olympic gold medalist, Michelle Venturella. From 2008, Tori Yamaguchi. And from 2000, Monica Zahaski. This time, let's give all of our alumni and everyone who's been a part of Indiana softball over the last 50 years a giant round of applause and thank you.
That's really nice.
And now let's meet today's starters. First for the Knights of Marian University, leading off and playing shortstop, number 30, Savannah Wager. Batting second and playing center
And as they get ready here to start the actual game, I think we're going to have looks like everybody's going to throw out a first pitch. That's awesome.
And then following that, we have the national anthem presented by Chloe Wilcox, the daughter of Mike Wilcox. Chloe is here with
so
Mike.
We'll let you enjoy that. And but again, it's happy to have everybody. And again, Brian, thanks for allowing us to do this. This is great.
It's really amazing. I've got some great feedback from what you guys are doing, and I'll be happy to support this anytime, anywhere.
Well, we're going to hold you to that. And we'd also like to really express our thanks to Tony Gray for kind of coordinating this whole thing and having the passion to get this done. So it's shaping up to be a real special thing today.
All right, Tony is a great addition to the Eye Association board. She's got a ton of energy and a ton of time and some great ideas, so we're happy to have her.
Brian, was Tori Yamaguchi a member of the board at one point?
I don't know.
I believe she was. She was introduced.
Now for your Indiana Hoosiers, first for our non-starters, number 00, Tatum Hayes. Number 2, Macy Montgomery. Number 4, Kate Rayburn. Number 7, Aaliyah Andrews. Number 12, Chloe Geyer. Number 15, Cassidy Kettleman. Number 17, Heather Johnson. Number 19, Desiree Dufak. Number 29, Abby Meeks. And number 43, Elle Smith. And now for your Hoosier starters. Leading off and playing right field, number 25, Cora Bassett. Batting second and playing shortstop, number 6, Brooke Benson. Batting third and playing left field, number 3, Taylor Minnick. Batting fourth and playing third base, number 18, Avery Parker. Playing first base, number 16, Brianna Copeland. The DP for your Hoosiers, number 14, Sarah Stone. Doing the catching for Indiana, number 22, Lindsay Warwick. Batting eighth and playing second base, number 9, Taryn Curt. Batting ninth and playing center field, number 24, Kinsey Mitchell. And pitching for your Hoosiers, number 28, Sophie Kleiman. Assistant coaches for your Hoosiers are Grayson Radcliffe, Gabby Jenkins, Erin Hoffman, and Shanda Bell. Your head coach in her 6th season, Shonda Stanton. At this time, we ask that you join us in honoring America with the singing of our national anthem. Our anthem will be performed this afternoon by Chloe Wilcox. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you be my early line? What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bars through the perilous so gallantly street, and the rocket's red glare burning in through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the of the brave?
Way to soldier on through that.
Now, please welcome back to the field all of our alumni.
And now all the alumni will throw out
All throw out our
a first pitch, and we don't want to miss.
Take a picture of that.
Yeah. Hopefully everybody knows who they're throwing to. That's
We got a net to back us up, Aaron. We're gonna.
The first pitch today.
Yeah, they're pointing at their partner, so I think we're safe. We're
I think
going to
they're
be
trying
good.
to figure. There goes a bunch of them.
perfect strikes across the board on the first
Little windmill action out of a few. Granted, a great scene to celebrate team number 50, but also those that came before them. It's
That's right.
really a terrific day and a terrific spirit we've seen all morning long.
Moment here.
Yep. See some. Yeah. Really good time. Now they're going to take a picture with everybody. Just a really good atmosphere right now. You see how well they all got in that little picture? They all did that very, very
That was
well.
pretty organized.
That was very organized.
A lot of teachers in that group too. We know that. We've
That's
spoken to
right.
several of them already today.
That's right.
Great thing, great scene, beautiful day, and we're ready to have some softball.
Yeah, we are, and we're ready to talk to some people, enjoy some softball, and ready to hear some stories. And
we mentioned earlier that varsity softball began, of course, 50 years ago, but we have some pre-varsity days from the pre-Title IX days represented here, and we'll talk to some of them as well.
yeah, we're just looking for a really good atmosphere here and kind of watch the Hoosiers hopefully get a win today. I know it's just a scrimmage, but it's a still a game. They still want to win. And I'm sure Marian wants to come in here and ruin the day.
And of course,
I don't think it's going to happen.
That's right. You're right. You're
I have
right.
to give a shout out to Chloe Wilcox. Not only is she an outstanding singer, we've heard her perform before, she's scheduled for some volleyball games this spring as well in Wilkinson Hall. Daughter of I Association board member and many-time bowl participant from IU football, Mike Wilcox. So we got you to see her.
Surprise today to see her.
Yeah, it was. But again, everybody, just want to thank everybody out there that is watching right now. But
You guys have a great day.
hey, you too. Thanks for being here.
Thanks again
Thank
for
you,
coming
Brian.
out. Thanks for what you're doing.
You got it. But we've still got the camera on the field, so
That's right. Well,
yeah, we'll keep it there until we get our first guest because they don't want to look at us.
and
They
I think
don't,
Tony Gray, class of '83, has volunteered to be our gatekeeper and kind of make sure we have people to talk to. And we must also mention that there are a few people that were unable to come up for various reasons, including shout out to Diane Stevenson, who apparently is down in Florida, and hopefully everything is safe and sound
That's
for
right,
Diane.
yes.
We miss you, we love you, and you're certainly a huge part of our success of the history of the program.
And you know, to be honest, not just with her, it's everybody down there.
Absolutely.
You know, we definitely miss her, and there might be more that we don't know about that are down there that could not come.
Huge IU alumni base, and
Yeah.
not just I men and women, but all kinds of alumni going through a lot right now. We wish you well.
Yes. Get better. First batter's up here. Strike call. I should have kept the scoreboard up on the screen. Didn't even think about that. Oh, well. Next time.
First pitch brought to you by Eye Association Live.
That's right.
Bringing you first pitches anytime we can.
One ball, two strikes, but we'll wait on Tony to kind of figure out who's
Well,
going
we-
first, I think.
And just some highlights. Not only do we have 3 or 4 members of the coaching staff, but we have the winningest Division I coach in softball history.
In history.
Carol Hutchins is here from Ann Arbor. She began her career after leading Michigan State to an AIAW national title, began her master's work here and was assistant coach in '81. And for Coach Gail Blevins, another legend, both here and at the University of Iowa. We're looking forward to talking to both of them. So
Yeah.
And not only Michelle Venturella, but you know, from Morgan Mello, Emily Gooden, names pre-Title IX, Ellen J.
Right.
Linda Cotter, and also those who. Here's Tony Gray.
Hi there.
Who's going
Who would
first?
you like? Who are you first? Okay.
Perfect. Perfect.
Susan would like to go first. I can do it. Yeah.
Let's,
Come on
let's
up.
have you on, please. We got a stool for you and a microphone,
Right here.
Right there.
if you would.
Okay.
And as we want everyone to introduce themselves as they would like to be remembered for archival purposes. So if you would, maybe tell us who you are, where you came from, and what years you were here at Indiana University.
Okay.
Go for it. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Susan Williams, and I was Assistant Sports Information Director from about 1980 through 1992. So I traveled with softball quite a lot and went to the College World Series with them. Had a really great time. I loved traveling with softball because it was such a great team, and they were a lot of fun. And Gail Blevins represented Indiana University so well. There is no coach that typifies or personifies what IU and college athletics should represent better than Gail Blevins. She's really a wonderful person. So, so I had a great time. I traveled also with women's basketball at the time and track and field. Most of the smaller teams didn't need me to go along, but it was a great time. I like to feel like I was here during the golden years of IU athletics
Right,
with
right.
Doc Councilman and Hobie Billingsley and
Absolutely.
Jerry Yeagley and Sam Bell and Sam Carmichael and all those great coaches that represented IU so well. So I just retired about 8 years ago from an administrative role at IU. I ended up director of media relations for IU, and it was a great ride. And I still teach in the media school, so teach a writing class.
Awesome.
But yeah.
That's great.
Impacting
Hoosiers.
students still. And as you said, not only the golden age of the athletic department with these legendary coaches, I don't know if there's ever been a concentration of those types of coaches anywhere.
I'm not sure. I mean, I like to think that we're getting there again now. But yes, those women and men, I didn't mention Lynn Loring and tennis, and also we had a couple of other sports then, women's gymnastics and field hockey, and we do have field hockey again. So many really great coaches, so many really great athletes, and I am really proud to be associated with Indiana University. Athletics, Indiana does it right.
Well, we appreciate your service as well. Many, many years. Talking about softball, arguably the golden age of IU softball. What was your impression then? And then looking back, what do you remember about that?
You know, my impression then was it was just a great ride. Those girls, young women, worked so hard and competed well. Some of the big names have become All-Americans. Diane Stevenson is a Hall of Famer, and she was the first woman at IU to get an athletic scholarship, full ride, and the first woman also to become an All-American. Carlene Moore, who is here, led the NCAA in hits. She was an All-American and on those great World Series teams, and there she is walking right across there.
Well, sure.
Yeah, so
And still, I believe she's a career hits leader. Is that not
I'm
correct?
sure she is, and that is because Gail Blevins made her a slap bunter. So Carlene is really fast on the bases, and Coach Blevins made her a left-handed slap bunter, and she was to first base before anybody even knew the ball was hit to the ground. So she led the nation in hits and was an All-American, and also a really smart student.
First team academic All-American
Yes, she
3
was.
times, as a matter of
Yes,
fact.
she
3
was.
times?
Big Ten Medal of Honor. I used Female Athlete of the Year. Just a complete, well-rounded
Yeah, she's
experience.
a real package. So, Carlene, Diane, Stevenson, so many. Every player on that team really contributed. I was just noticing that this team seems to have more players on the roster than the teams back then did, or at least the Indiana teams. Because I think maybe we only had maybe 14, and we only pitched like maybe 2 pitchers.
Right.
Amy Unterbrink pitched, I think, every game her senior year or her junior year, and spent half of the game wrapped in ice on her shoulder. But Amy also was an All-American, and she was a machine.
One other question while we've got you here. We have to ask you about the media relations side.
About what?
About the media relations side.
Yeah.
30 years ago, it was a little bit different, and now that everyone can be their own media relations person in effect, what do you see as some of the changes that you've noticed particularly, and you still are instructing our students? What do you see now that maybe is better than it was, or are there any advantages to this modern system where everybody's got an access to a platform?
I think there are probably advantages and disadvantages. You have less control over what's going out when it all goes out here, there, and everywhere. It feels to me a little more, I don't want to say disorganized, because that's not it. It's just coming from several directions instead of, a handful of maybe 5-6 people. I think it's probably a good thing. The really great thing is the Cuban Center and all of the facilities that are available now to sports information, and the students. We have a lot of media school students who use the Cuban Center for classwork. So we offer as a university so much more, I think, in terms of sports media. Sports media here at IU and the media schools, a big deal. And part of that is because of the Cuban Center and what we can offer to students. I don't get to really go in the media center because I just teach writing for electronic media. So I'm all about pronouns and stuff, but so not necessarily the fun stuff. But I think generally overall, IU does a really great job in media and sports media in particular. So.
Well, great. Yeah, we can't thank you enough for everything you've done and being our guinea pig here today. And we have one request, I believe. Look right in the camera and say, "Together we are Hoosiers."
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Together we are Hoosiers.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, Susan. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
As we get guest number 2,
Let's have Susan needs to autograph the poster now.
Yep, we're going to get ready here for 3 guests as we get to watch the game here. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Brooke Benson here. It's already 1 out in the game. That one's going to be tough to play. Oh, good play. A lot of wind up there today. How are you? You're very welcome. Is there 4 or 3? Oh, perfect, perfect. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have you guys all shift that way if you can. Yeah, get closer to Curt, yeah. I think I'm blocking you out. Perfect, we'll just share the mic. But she can come in whenever she gets over here. But all right. Got a big group in here right now. Explain who you are, what years you played, where you're from.
Sure, my name is Michelle Venturella, and I played back. My freshman fall was 91, finished in 95. I'm from South Holland, Illinois.
Awesome.
My name is Gina Hugo, and I played from 92 to 96, and I'm from Moreland Park, Illinois.
Awesome.
I am Jenny Spencer. I played from 91 to 95. I was from Bedford, Indiana, and I live in Tampa, Florida now.
Perfect. Fellow Bedford person myself.
There are a lot of stats and awards sitting here.
Yes,
You know? We appreciate you being here. First of all, what does this weekend mean to you? Just share your impressions of the whole thing so far.
I don't know if anyone stopped smiling yet. It's one of those things, like, as you drive in, like the annoying mom and spouse of like, hey, here's where this was, here's where this up. This has always just been a home. It's been a home away from home. So, but what makes it also that feeling is these guys, right? It's your teammates. So if you come here separate, it's beautiful. But when you have the people that made the experience, you know, what it was, I'm happy to have some of them back. We're missing some for sure, but just haven't stopped smiling.
Same question.
I have to agree. Bloomington is amazing, but when you come back with your teammates, there's nothing like it. You get to share your stories and remember when, and they're the only ones who can share that with you.
Right.
So it's really amazing, and I'm so grateful that they put this together.
Yeah.
So this really means a lot to me and everyone that's here.
Awesome.
I mean, I can only say exactly what these guys said. Come on in, Miston.
Yeah.
Miston Bogger in the house.
Miston's here. Some things never change.
Go ahead, Margaret.
Come on in, Margaret.
Here we
This
come.
this is half of our team. Hold on, Margaret.
We have the
Hold on, we'll
mid-90s
go back
representing
to-
here,
there,
taking
you know,
over here.
These guys first.
Hi, Miston Mager Boyson from Traverse City, Michigan.
And what years did you play?
92 to 96, second base, number 20.
There you go.
Nice.
Margaret Gesa, West Chicago, Illinois. Catcher, third, left field. 94 Big Ten champs.
There you go.
Kind of a hitter too, by the way.
Yeah.
Kind of a hitter, yeah.
Again, the newer arrivals here. Your impressions of the whole weekend and
So this weekend has just been amazing. I'm coming in from Tampa where we had to evacuate. So being able to get here has been amazing. And it's neat to see our friends here that we played softball with, especially having young kids and watching them go through this and just knowing the history and the stories that we share and the camaraderie has just been awesome.
Yeah, no doubt.
Your turn, Miston.
Yeah, it's been amazing so far. The Nick's English Hut was the highlight of my weekend so far. But
Just having a great time. It means a lot to be back here in Bloomington and sharing our experiences with Team 50.
I've got a question for everybody. How often do you come back to Bloomington?
I had a little bit of a chance because I actually coached softball until recently, and I was coaching at University of Illinois Chicago, and anytime I could, I'd try to come back here. So
Right.
we got to play actually on this field, in fact, that opening weekend with the stadium, so that was really special.
Awesome.
But being a softball coach until, again, recently, it was pretty busy to come back,
Right.
so I am thrilled to have this opportunity.
Yeah.
my family comes back a lot because I have a sister that also went here.
It's a good game going on.
So,
Yeah, good play right there. Sorry.
we come back, but Bloomington is like home. home
Right.
base for my family. So we come back almost every year.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, I don't get to come back very often, but I've been back a couple times since graduation, and one for her Hall of Fame induction, and but hope to come back more.
That's right.
I have actually not been back in 10 years. When we were moving from California back to Florida, we stopped by and I brought my husband by. I was looking forward to having my kids here this weekend to see the beautiful fields, but unfortunately with the storm we couldn't make it, only my husband and I, but we will be coming back sooner and a lot more often.
I was back in 2016. I brought my husband and kids out here, and we were checking out the new stadium and got to show them everything around and what Bloomington is all about.
Awesome. Awesome.
Now, this group is well-traveled. This group was from the early 90s, right, all of you? Speak, if you will. Is there anything we need to know about Diane Stevenson as a coach and your experience with Diane? We all remember Diane very fondly. What would you like to share about Diane?
Diane Stevenson, Coach
Oh,
Stevenson.
any experience about Diane Stevenson? Where should we start? I'll tell you this. Love playing. She's one of the best athletes, right? So first scholarship athlete in '79. She just loved this place, right? But I selfishly have a story that I'll share, which is when I was playing, I came in as a first baseman, and then that coaching staff said, "Hey, I think we're going to try you as a catcher." And I thought that was crazy because I was left-handed. You didn't have left-handed catchers 30 years ago, right? So I give credit to Diane and that staff for saying, let's try something new. And that opportunity led me behind the plate. I got the opportunity to catch this person here, which was awesome, but then led to tryouts with the Olympic team. And so when I look at my experience here and playing for Diane, who I just felt like connected with on my recruiting trip, just loved it. Just absolutely loved the knowledge that she could pass down to us to kind of keep pushing us. So I'm super grateful to have that opportunity to play for her.
I'm also very grateful that she put Michelle behind the plate. I think that was probably the best coaching decision she's ever done, because that was like, it made my career what it was. And I was very fortunate to have a good career here, and she promoted me. And let me shine. So I do appreciate her inside and out. That was awesome.
And she was an amazing coach. I will also say I remember the most is running around the football stadium.
4 times for the time.
4 times.
Why do we have to run 2 miles for softball? I don't know.
Or practice with the track team.
We'll run those
Plyometrics,
stairs.
voluntary
Stadium
practice,
stairs.
stadium steps.
stairs.
We were in great shape. I will put it that way.
I would say we're probably in the best shape softball team.
I do remember at one point saying, I don't think I signed up for track. I really don't think. I think it was softball, but we could have been wrong. But
I'm one of the
right.
shortest ones on the team. I cannot jump up that box, just like all the other track players.
That's right.
Our 5 a.m. Indian runs.
Were you in the weight room down in the boiler room downstairs here? That was a wonderful time, wasn't it?
The old break room, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And your thoughts on Diane?
Yeah, Diane was a tough individual. Very passionate. There were many times that I didn't know if I could make it, but
But here we are.
and here I live to talk about it. So yeah, she was tough, but she made me a better person.
Yep,
So.
I agree.
Yeah, I'd agree. I agree with Miston there. Made all of us better people, right? We became very close because of Diane, and we all stuck together and worked hard for each other as a result of her toughness and what she pushed us to do, and kind of pushed us beyond our limits. So I think it was really great, and that's what led us to our success in the early '90s.
Maybe a question that some of you have answered in some form already. Your travels have taken you to successful families, successful careers, Sydney Olympic gold medalists, and all sorts of things based on what you learned here at IU. But sum it up, why IU? What makes it special for you?
I'll tell you again, I can remember my recruiting trip. It was November 9th through 11th, 1990. I can remember it being at the football game, and we were playing Wisconsin, and the whole thing was red and white. It was just a feeling. I can't tell you. I mean, my best friend is here as well, Ann Tuttle. Again, someone I met there, and it was the people that connected. I felt connected to Diane. I felt connected to the people I met. And then when you actually get to be here and get to know your teammates, that just enhanced it. So it really just became about the full experience. we also had those 6 a.m. morning practices, and we bonded even without saying a word to each other. We knew the look, but we did those things together. And when you do those things together, there's a bond that's created, and it's strong. And even if we haven't stayed tonight, every week we talk. When you come back, you just pick up. Like, that's what this experience has done for myself, and I'm so glad that, again, these faces right here showed up.
I would also say, with just being here during COVID, as we all live in different areas of the world right now, or the country, during COVID, we bonded through Zoom again, and it brought us all close together. And it didn't matter what walks of life, we all do different professions, and we bonded right back like we had never left off. It was great.
Well, one more thing, too. I don't know if a lot of people, again, 17 years old, always know what they want to do. And when you look at this university, academically, it offered so much and such a variety that you weren't going to go wrong, right? So, you can love what you're doing from the athletic side, but clearly the academics here are just top rated. And so we knew that if we could come here and get this degree, that was going to help us. And the platform, again, that softball gave us to do both at this kind of level was just amazing.
Anybody else?
Thank you so much for being here. We would like to get a plug. IU has just launched a Women's Excellence Initiative, not only financially, but also service in support of elevating women's athletics, not only in observance of 50 years of Title IX, but just to advance past what should be there. What does women's excellence mean to you in this setting?
To me, I think women's excellence is setting the standard with just no limits. It's really just, sometimes, again, we live in this world where we think there's these boundaries that exist, but they don't. We just need to make sure that we pass through anyone that thinks there's one. It's just ask those questions why. We can do this and kind of pursue it. Pursue it without being told no. If you're told no, go somewhere else. Because the opportunities they're truly endless as long as you think that way. So are there some barriers? There are, but we need to just kind of push past them.
What she said.
Pretty good statement.
Women's excellence. This year we're celebrating really 50 years of Title IX, which was such an important part in our lives, and especially we were not the first, but we benefited from those women who pushed the boundaries, and they were the excellence, and they really pushed it, and gave us the opportunity. And we were just reminiscing how when we played kids soccer, we were always on the boys teams because there weren't any girls soccer, there wasn't girls softball. So we really benefited from those women who pushed those boundaries, and that's what women's excellence means to me.
And just along those lines, I have a daughter that plays hockey, that she started off on considering quote unquote a men's sport. And just what they're doing for just sports in general for women to set that bar of you can accomplish whatever you put your mind to has been amazing. She's 12, and she now wants to travel. She plays on a travel girls hockey team.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Good.
All right, we've got one more thing. Just look right into the camera and say, "Together we are Hoosiers."
1, 2, 3.
Together we are Hoosiers.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Everybody
Thank
would
you.
sign the posters here for us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
We got 3.
And we're going to take a break here and let you enjoy the.
You're from Bedford.
I am. All right, and welcome back here. And I want to welcome in 3 former players here. And just tell us who you are, what years you played, and where you're from.
I am Moni Armendariz. I'm from Carlsbad, New Mexico, and I was 95 to 98.
Awesome.
I'm Donna Bonebreak, and I never played here. But I did coach for 7 years with Diane Stevenson.
Awesome.
I still live here in Bloomington, outside of Bloomington. But I enjoyed every year I was here. And these are 2
We were
couple of
probably
favorites.
2 goofballs.
But we had a lot of fun.
Good.
I'm Meg Montgomery. I'm from a small town in Ohio called Piqua, and I came all the way over here to Bloomington and stayed. I never left, and I've been here ever since, and I played here from 1994 to 1997.
Awesome.
And Donna probably doesn't remember. She helped me fix my mailbox. Remember back in the day?
I do remember that very much.
First time I used a Dremel. Just your impressions of this weekend. How has this been for you? The smiles are impossible to ignore.
It has been really, really cool. It's been really, really a good time. I started coming back probably in 2015. Came back 2015, 2016, 2018, 2019. Now we're here 2022, and it's just like the more that they come, the more friends, like the family that we become. Like this go round has been, being getting closer to a little bit of the younger group, the 20-year-olds that just become alumni. So it's like, hey, welcome to this group now. A few years ago, it was becoming really good friends with the ones that were older, 10 years older or whatnot. So it's just been coming back to IU is just always that nostalgic feeling. It's like, we're here. This is good.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's this weekend, just to be able to reconnect with everyone. There's, been some players and even coaches that I haven't seen in 15 or 20 years, and to come back and kind of pick up right where you left off maybe, or share a good story or a good laugh. I mean, there hasn't been a dull moment this entire weekend. So I think that's what's really special about this weekend, and when we have everyone getting back together is you just kind of pick up and kind of learn what's happening with everybody and share stories and memories and just have a good time.
Well, it's a beautiful day. How can you not enjoy what's going on here at IU and the campus and this beautiful facility that they have provided the young ladies these days? It's always good for me to see ex-players catch up with them where they're at in their lives and what they're doing. So it's an absolutely wonderful day.
We have a couple All-Americans here. First professional player in the history of the program, correct? Was that Carolina? What year was that? Let's see, 98?
Yeah, the Carolina Diamonds.
Your road has taken you, as has Meg's, taken you from all different aspects of the game and all different aspects of life. Why IU?
Well, I went on 2 recruiting trips, Central Michigan and IU. And when I first got a questionnaire from IU, from Diane, I was like, Mom, not going there. Not filling it out. Not doing it. It's too far from home. Came on a recruiting trip, went home. I said, that's where I'm going. It's beautiful. I mean, as Coach B just said, this beautiful day. The campus is absolutely gorgeous. The academics, and then a great softball program. Yeah. We got to play in the Big Ten. How fun.
Yeah, and I think for me, I went on a couple recruiting visits, but came over here to Bloomington, and when I stepped on campus, I knew this was the place. It's probably it is one of the most beautiful campuses here, and the coaching staff and the players immediately welcomed me, on that recruiting trip, and I knew it was going to be a special place, and right then and there, I knew I wanted to be a Hoosier.
And you've stayed.
I have. I've stayed, and I never left. And you know,
she'll never leave.
I probably will never leave. But no, I mean, Bloomington's a great community, and you know, I've very fortunate that you talked about different aspects of the game. I'm now teaching here at the high school level, and I'm coaching over
And she won a
20
state
years.
title, folks. Just don't let her brush that over.
Yeah. So you know, to be able then to make that transition from playing in college and going on to now giving back and coaching players has just been something really special. So. But like I said, you know, Bloomington is a wonderful community and a special place, and I probably will never leave.
Probably good. Donna, you're still here too.
Yes, I am. I spent 31 years in teaching and coaching, and I loved every minute of it. I knew when the time came, it was time for me to get out. Because I always told myself when it became a job that I would leave teaching and coaching. And it had become a job. It wasn't fun for me anymore. I loved my time here, and I want to say a big thank you to Diane Stevenson for giving me the opportunity to come here and spend 7 years and work with someone with her intelligence and the knowledge of the game. I taught at the high school level. I taught at the junior high level. I was even at Indiana State for 4 years before coming here. So. Yeah, this is a great community. I loved it when I came in here. I love where I live. I live out in the country. I could be a hermit, which I now have retired, and I'm fulfilling that role in my life. But yeah, I love it, and I'll probably stay here until they carry me out in a box.
That's one way to put it.
That's pretty good. Well, we asked the other group, so we asked you the same thing. What should we know, or what can you share about the experience with Diane? And that's a very open-ended question. What can you share in public over the internet?
Well, I think, well, she said, let me take
let me have that mic. No.
I'm just going to say this. There's never a dull moment with Diane, ever. Whether it was in practice, whether it was travel, whether it was games, whether she panicked and ordered eggs rather than pancakes and came to me and said, I don't want eggs, I want pancakes. I said, Diane, you're the head coach, you can have whatever you want. So yeah, never a dull moment. Some of them, these guys can talk about. Some of the ones that she and I had, we'll just keep between Diane and I.
That's it.
You know, I think that it was just one of those. She had respect for you. You gave her respect, and you knew when she was around. I was gonna say that, like that voice. I have a funny. Whenever she got inducted into the Hall of Fame, we were down at the hotel, having a little gathering, and everybody was talking, and she wanted to get our attention. And everybody was yapping. She was still trying to talk, and there was one point, it was ladies, and I was like, oh gosh, I'm gonna sit down. We're gonna start running. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm in my 40s. She can't make me run now with that voice. She said it one time. I said, oh gosh, let me sit down. But I think that she demanded your best, and that's you know, there was nothing less. And that's what I loved about her. That's what made me love her, made me love the sport even more.
And 2 years later, when you followed into the IU Hall of Fame, what was the same relationship? Did she still demand your attention?
Always. Always. From the minute she walks in that door, I wouldn't be surprised she walked through those gates.
Yes, and you know, she will still always be Coach Stevenson, and you know, just like Moni said, I mean, it's, you know, she demanded a lot out of you and knew that she could always get more out of you and push you to be the best that, you know, and there definitely was never a dull moment with her around. And I think one of my favorite stories, and I hope that she can laugh about this now, and I don't know if I'm laughing about it yet, but we headed out to Iowa. We had the Big Ten championships going out there to try to claim it back there, and I was a freshman at the time. I had all of the team gear, responsible for the catching gear and the wiffle balls and everything. And on the first day, we had clinched a share of it. So we knew we had at least a share of the Big Ten championship, and we're going to play the next day to hopefully win it outright. And we were so excited, and I dragged the gear back to the vans, and we were just still hooting and hollering, having a wonderful time. We all loaded in the vans, and sure enough, we backed over the equipment, and then we pulled forward, and we went over it again. We laughed, we threw it in the van. Well, Michelle Venturella was the catcher at the time, and she would clean her gear every morning before a game. So she went out to the van to get the gear, and everything was smashed and flattened, and there was nothing that could be used or hit out of that bag. And so I had to take it to Coach Stevenson, and I just knocked on the door and held up the smashed catching gear, and I knew I was going to be probably running forever, but good news is Iowa loaned us gear. I remember, and so she was able to, and we won the Big Ten championship the next day, and so I think all is good now, even though I might have maybe didn't have anything to catch in. So Michelle, I'm sorry, and we caused a little bit of a heartache there, but things worked out and we won. So yes, but I still think I'm shaking a little bit about that story every time I tell it. So.
You carry the experience with you, yes.
Correct.
Probably into your teaching and coaching career.
Yes.
One of the things that we've been asking people about, IU has launched the Women's Excellence Initiative, not only raising funds, but raising the bar for women's athletics at IU, obviously in observance of 50 years of Title IX, but also to get things where they should be at a place like IU. What does women's excellence mean to you?
Respect, courage, the ability to step up. I think as you said, we're still way far behind from where we should be. And at times I'm very appalled at how long it has taken the people in the community, the university, to even attempt to catch up where we need to be.
Feed off of Coach B, I would say equal. To be equal. I mean, the respect and the equal, I think that we all deserve it, right? We work just as hard.
That's right.
We work just as hard.
Yeah, and I have to agree with that, the equal side of it, and to be able, these young women work hard every single day, and deserve to have everything, and just we've watched where it has been, but we still do have a long way to go, and we need to make sure that continue to have conversations, but to know we just need to make sure things are equal, and that's super important.
Yeah, one thing that I always like to ask is, what's the best experience you had? I know Big Ten championship, that's obviously up there, but what else is there that you guys remember playing for the university that stands out? Is there anything? Is there that one story that only you guys know that you can share? Is there that you can share with everybody else?
I think that when that question always gets asked, my mind goes blank for some reason, because there was so many things. In the moment, you're playing. You don't think about things. And my best example I could probably give is when Diane got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I sat down and I was like, man, that is so cool. I wish I would have thought about that whenever I was playing, because that would be quite the honor. And I'm like, well, but I can't do anything now because it's already done. And then lo and behold, I get this phone call in 2018, and I was like, wow. And so it kind of goes back to that whole part of you just got to live every day to be the best that you can be. Every day won't be your best, but you can be the best that you can be that day. And enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride where you are. Live in that moment because it's here and it's gone.
Right.
And now the memories that I remember the most are probably what started to happen within like the last 7 years, since it started coming back, hearing other people's stories, So that's kind of how, when I think about that experience, that's where I go in my mind with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's not like the play or the hit. It's all of the memories, you made, whether you were in the hotels or on the buses or, in the off season or, just the friends you were hanging out with and the friends you made and
the lies your teammates told when you had to go on plane trips and you had to wear dresses and they all came out in workout gear.
That
and
is
wearing dresses
I don't
as
think
freshmen.
I remember. I don't think. Ooh,
Nice catch.
Look at
Still
that.
got it.
Nice
Still got
catch.
it.
And a Hall of Famer right there and an All-American. Everyone, take note of that right there. But no, I think those are things that I remember now. Is the memories of it, and we still talk about it, and everybody we've got former players all over this, being able to visit them or I just think that is something to me that was probably the best experience, was just hanging out with your friends or getting through a practice that might have been hard and knowing that they're always there to support you but it's the relationships you make along the way.
Well, there's never really any one moment in time. I think the thing for me was, no matter where I was coaching, it was that first day when the freshmen come in and you see their faces and they're so scared. They don't know where they're at, what they're doing. And then you take a look at the kids that are returning and how the last year's freshman has matured to a sophomore. And then you look at the seniors and you're sad that this is the last year you're going to spend with them. So it's just a culmination of so many things from year to year that is the moment.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, well said. Well, we can't thank you guys enough for being here, for enjoying the weekend, for coming on here and answering some questions. But we do have one more thing.
One more.
If you can, look into the camera and say, "Together we are Hoosiers."
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Together we are Hoosiers.
Thank you so much. And if you
Thank you,
can,
guys.
sign these 3 things there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
And we're going to take a break while we get set here. It is the 4th inning. Sorry, top of the 5th, 0-0 score. We'll let you enjoy that just for a minute here while we get set here for another group. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Eye Association Live.
The one in the white.
We're back.
And then, so what we'll do here is just, we'll take turns. Tell us who you are, what years you played or coached, and where you're from after the picture.
The great Tony Gray, everybody. Staff photographer Tony Gray.
Yeah.
So tell us who you are, what years you played, and where you're from.
Okay, I'm Bella Price. I'm from Marian, Indiana, and I played from 1972 to 1976.
Awesome.
I'm Cynthia Schroed, and I played in 1975, 1976, and I'm from Bloomington, Indiana.
Jean McGrain, originally from South Bend, Indiana. Played from 1972 to 1975.
And I'm Evelyn Butler. I'm from Bloomington as well. I played from 1972 to 1975.
You can't ignore the fact that none of you have stopped smiling since you came in this morning. What has this weekend meant to you?
I don't know, it's just a chance, I think, to see people that we've played with before and see people that we've watched after we played. And, you know, they've just all been very nice and fine, and it's just been a fun group to be around.
Yeah, it's kind of neat to get back with people that you haven't seen in a long time, and also see the youngsters and that played after us, and hopefully they're thankful for the way we paved.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, I get to see these guys all the time because we all live in Bloomington. So seeing some other new faces, but I just like to see how we've come a long way, baby.
And I've seen a lot of these people play over the years, and now it gave me a chance to put names with faces and to see the newer kids, like we all talk about them as being kids, because we are sort of the older generation. And I agree that I hope they appreciate, you know, the way we paved the way for them. So
we have, at best, and I'm sure you know, there are holes and gaps in our history in different sports, and softball being one of them. We have an incomplete list of the coaches. If you could tell us which coach you played for and a little bit about your time with them.
Well, my freshman year, we had graduate assistants as our coaches. Mm-hmm. And it was Pat Archer and Jenny Johnson. And then my sophomore and junior year, I played for Louetta Blucher. Mm-hmm. And then my senior year, I played for Ann Lawver.
Okay.
Yeah, I played for Lou Blucher, Lou Blue we used to call her, mm-hmm. and then Ann Lawver, who was just great.
I think my freshman year, 72, was Marilyn Scroggins. Again, a grad student. And then Jenny Johnson. And then last junior, senior was Lou Blue.
Same for me.
Any stories that stand out from those people? Is there anything you'd like to share with the world on the internet? Or is there are there things that you talk about with yourselves and no one else?
Well, I always want to I've been talking to Evelyn about this, and I always say that my mom was a big supporter of me, and if it's within a 2-hour or so driving limit, she would always come to the games. She would bring her lawn chair, because where we played, there weren't bleachers and stuff like that. So she'd bring her lawn chair, a book, and a radio. And if the game was interested, she would watch the game. But if we were just blowing out a team or we were getting blown out, she'd turn her radio on, get her book out, and she'd read until the game was over. And the one thing, the first time she came down here, there was this donut shop in Marian called Vogel's Donuts. And I used to always, go home and they'd have Vogel donuts and bananas for me because that's my favorite. So she brought down a dozen caramel rolls the first time she came down. Well, nobody on the team had ever had these before. I got one, And that was all I got. The rest of the team took them all. So from then on, whenever she came down to a game or whatever like that, she would always bring at least 3 dozen of caramel rolls so I could at least have a few.
Have a couple.
Yeah, they always ask, is your mom coming, Bella? Is she bringing caramel rolls?
Yeah, I remember my parents too were really supportive and came to every game. They didn't have far to travel, but they brought their chairs because there was no bleachers. And we were talking earlier, we didn't have an outfield fence. So if you got the ball past the outfielders, it was home run. And I don't think we had a backstop the first year. And I can remember one time, I think it was practice, I was playing third and Bella hit the ball, smacked it right down the third base line, hit me in the head, left some stitches marks, and then rolled. Of course, it was a home run because it rolled past the fence. But, you know, those were the days. We had to drive ourselves, cars, no shirt, no shoes, none of that fun stuff.
Same uniforms for basketball and
softball.
We've heard many stories from people and some of the Title IX, pre-Title IX, that all sports shared one set of uniforms, and there was a budget of about $150, and you did it because what kept you going?
Love of the game. Simply love of the game and your camaraderie. Don't forget, we all played other sports too together, so you kind of naturally went
What other
into-
sports did you guys play?
They were basketball.
Yeah, I played basketball and softball.
Yeah, I played volleyball in the fall, swam in the winter, and softball in the spring. So just one practice to the other kind of thing. But we started out my freshman year on Woodlawn Field, and that was a little rough infield.
Yeah.
And we thought that was big time. We moved out down here on Fee Lane or whatever.
We had some conversations
To another, yeah.
prior. We had a few conversations about where do you remember practicing? There's some discrepancies, but all kind of over that way.
Infield.
Yeah. If there was a spot, that's where we throw bases down, and that's where we practice. We didn't have dugouts. We didn't have benches for the most part. You sit on the ground.
Yeah.
And basically, like Gene said, we started on Woodlawn, which is impossible to play on at that time because it was real rough, and you couldn't field a ground ball because it would, bounce over your head or whatever. And then we moved to the practice baseball field. It was the freshman field that was behind the old Simbauer field. And that was interesting because there was a mound. And as a second baseman, I always loved it because you're down there ready to field a ground ball and the ball would go over your head because it would hit the mound and bounce over your head. And that's how we had to take care of it. We took care of our own fields. We did our own raking. We did our own shoveling. We did, lining the field. If it was wet, we took care of that. I mean, we just did everything we had to do in order to play because we loved the game of softball. And all of us, I think, went on to play after we got out of college, and either in the city leagues or in other, leagues that we played in because we just loved it so much. And I've been asked over the time here we've had the reunions, did we miss it? And I'm like, we didn't know what we were missing because we didn't have it. So that's why we played for the love of the game, because that's the only reason we were there for, was the love of the game. And I don't think we could have done what we did if we didn't love what we were doing. I don't think we could have put in the time and effort, because we also had to balance going to school. Of course, that's what we were there for, was to go to school.
And the student athlete, we've done pieces with some of the field hockey pioneers, had conversations with some basketball pre-Title IX athletes. The differences, the things we hear are the same things you just talked about. We weren't sure. The student athlete experience was a student about this much and an athlete about this much. Now what it is, completely reversed back in your days from what we're hearing. What were some of the barriers, some of the things, some of the limitations that kept you always trying to balance that experience? What was different than what they face today?
You had to make your own dinner afterwards. And then freshman year, I didn't get any dinners from the dorm because practice time was all
always during
dinner
time in the dorms.
And
No tutoring.
No
tutoring, whatsoever.
We had to go through the field house with the cards to register for classes. Nothing was online. You had to have these cards. So you had to have about 5 or 6 different options of when you're trying to get your classes, because she just went up to tables and gave them a card, and they said, that's full. Try to get something else, We didn't really get any kind of preference of being able to go first or anything like that to register for class. So. And sometimes you might have had a class, so you missed a practice or whatever like that, because that wasn't in consideration or anything.
It's okay. It made us tough.
There's a lot to
and
be
we
said
all went
for
on
that.
to be pretty successful, so there you go.
That's right.
One of the things that we've asked everyone, IU, as you probably know, may or may not know, has instituted over the last year the Women's Excellence Initiative, not only to raise money, but to raise the bar and put things up not only where they should be, but not only in observance of 50 years of Title IX, but to advance women's athletics and be a leader among on the national level for that type of thing. Simple question: what does women's excellence mean to you?
I'd say women's excellence to me means equal opportunities. All across the board, and equal, and in those equal opportunities, when there's achievements, the recognition that comes along with that. I don't think the women get recognized like the men do. Still to this day, there's a long way to go.
Yeah, I think unless the women do something exceptional or whatever like that, I agree with Cindy. It's just like, it's nothing out there that everybody's going, yay, yay, they did this, and the men could do something that's normal, but they get a whole bunch of praise sometimes,
I can remember a discussion when it was AIAW and they were moving to go into the NCAA, and it was 50-50. It's like, maybe we don't want what the men do. We are running it in a feminine way. I don't know how to express that. But we kind of had some good things about it that it was not in the NCAA. And there was kind of debates back and forth about whether to join that, I think.
And I agree with you. A lot of it was on that scholarship basis. That's why they were fearful of doing scholarships, because they were afraid there'd be the gambling and all that kind of stuff that was a lot in men's sports, and they've cleaned that up a lot now. But I totally agree with Jean that there was a lot of question of do we want to take that step? But we didn't have a choice, because AAAW just sort of filtered out and wasn't existing anymore, because everything we played under was AAW, which was basically NCAA. It was a national organization. It just wasn't recognized because of the popularity and the money. And as Vela said, the men, did it. But I had the opportunity after playing sports to go into officiating, and it was the same thing in that. There were very few women officials. I can't tell you the number of times that I actually worked with another female. Or even saw one on the books, because it was mostly a male-dominated sport. Coaching was male-dominated. Even the preparation for coaching was male-dominated. So I totally agree that it's opportunity. We need to give the opportunity more to women in sports who will then excel because they're good at what they do.
That's right. Yeah, we can't thank you guys enough for everything you've done. You've paved the way for a facility like this. This facility is top notch, but thank you for everything that you guys have done.
Well, there were women before us that put
That's true, but
and just to clarify, this is not the 50th, it's probably about the 54th.
True, absolutely.
Right. You're right.
But that's okay.
But before we get out of here, we do have one favor that we need to ask. If you can, look right in the camera and say, together, we are Hoosiers.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
We are Hoosiers. Oh, it's like, come on.
I thought he said
Together.
Yeah, together,
Are we going to say
we are
it slow, or are we
Take
going to say it fast?
Take two.
inside or outside? Okay. 1, 2, 3.
We are Hoosiers.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for doing this. Thank you very much.
As you can see, we're all.
And just to let everybody know, the Hoosiers did take the lead. It is 3-0.
If you also could.
So we're going to take a break here.
One more assignment, please, if you would. There are three here.
And we'll be back with another group of former Hoosiers. Thanks for joining us.
Leslie.
Gail Blevins, head coach from 1980 to 1987, National Coach of the Year in 1986, Hall of Fame coach, overall record of 300, 146, and 2, 3 World Series appearances, and 2 Big Ten championships. And Kasdorf, behind every winning head coach is a great assistant who's helping pave the way. And Kasdorf was Gail Blevins' assistant coach from 1981 and 83, and assisting and leading the team to the World Series in those seasons. Carol Hutchins, graduate coach in Indiana in 1981, all-time winningest coach in NCAA Division I softball history, Michigan head coach from 1985 to 2022. 22 Big Ten Conference regular season titles, 9 Big Ten Conference tournament titles, 18 NCAA regional championships, named Big Ten Coach of the Year on 18 occasions, and a national champion in 2005. Carol Hutchins. Please one more time for Ed Lauber, Gail Blevins, Ann Kasdorf, and Carol Hutchins.
All right, welcome back. And got another great group here. Tell us who you are, what years you played, and where you're from.
I'm Pam Lee. I'm played from 1983 teams to 1986, and I'm from Athens, Ohio.
I'm Carlene Mohr, and I played from 83 to 87, 84 to 87, 84 to 87, I wasn't here that long. And my hometown is Fort Collins, Colorado.
I'm Caroline Berger. I played from 1983 to 1986, and I'm from Buffalo, New York.
Awesome. Well, welcome. The Hoosiers have the lead. Just had a really nice presentation down on the field there. But Curt, what's your first question? He's the question guy.
We've noticed from the pregame ceremony and the recognition and the excitement you could see from the current team, Team 50, varsity anyway. Although we know pre-Title IX is more like 54 or so from what we've looked up. Your impressions of this whole weekend? The smiles are plastered on everyone's faces. And how are you feeling about this?
You know, it's been such an amazing opportunity to come back. I don't get back here very often because I still live in Colorado, and it's just every time I come here, I feel like I'm coming home. And to have the current team and coaching staff welcome us the way they have has just been an incredible experience. We love it when we come back.
Yeah, I would say that it's been fabulous. The team, the enthusiasm they have. Coach Stanton is just like a class act, and it's great to be with all our former teammates and just the energy and the enthusiasm that everyone has. So it's cool.
Yeah, I think in women's athletics there's a long history, and so sometimes the current team doesn't realize how long back we go and what happened back then. But so I think it was good to intermix with everybody. But it's been fantastic, and the coaching staff and all the team has been awesome. Yeah.
We'll go out of order. How about this one?
Go ahead.
Why IU? Describe your recruitment, your interest, knowledge prior of IU, and impressions. And it sounds like it was a great decision for all of you.
Okay, so I'll start.
Okay.
I was fortunate enough that I was at the year of just as they switched from AAW to NCAA. So I came in the fall and had a tryout, and there were already 4 Buffalo people playing. Pam Ambiel was kind of a grad assistant. So I went through that process. And then my other school of choice was Utah State. They had just played each other. Utah finished number 1, Indiana number 2. And I had to make a decision. And academically, this was the right choice. There's no question about it. And athletically, it was the best experience. So that's how I ended up here.
Me and Carlene have a joint history. I was a walk-on in '82, and I came here for softball camp as a senior in high school. And the coaching staff of the camp was Gail Blevins, Diane Stevenson, Carol Hutchins, Meg Sang, and some other guy.
How do you say no?
So I was like, you don't know that back then, but here we have, Hall of Famers, the winningest coach in college history, and Gail's close up there as well. And it's just an amazing experience. But Carlene and I played. I used to live in Fort Collins, and so Carlene and I played on the Buckaroos, which is a small team. And so when I made the team, I was like, well, Carlene wasn't playing, and I was like, we have this fastest girl you've ever seen, and a great outfielder. Do you want to look at her or talk to her or anything? So anyways, Gail recruited Carlene, and she came in, and so.
Yeah, and I was not recruited out of high school at all. We didn't have high school ball. We just had the travel team, the Buckaroos. And when Pam walked on and did so well here, I sent a videotape out, and Gail offered me a scholarship on that, and it truly was the best decision I ever made in my life.
That's awesome.
You've already told us about the amazing coaching you received here, and a lot of the careers began here and went on to even greater things. What can you tell us about the experience playing for those coaches, those legendary coaches?
So a lot of the teams that were winning teams, you have to look at the coaching staff, because they are the trendsetters or whatever. They set the culture, and they call it culture now. I don't know what they called it back then, but we knew that Gail was in charge, Gail Blevins, and they were in charge, and we were so fortunate to play for them. I think it's just same thing. You just don't realize it at the time, but we were disciplined and we were scrappy, and Gail was a innovative coach. And if you watch this team play with Shonda, the way she coaches is very similar to Gail, manufacturing runs, having a great pitching staff, and working the game. And we would score one run maybe, and our pitchers were very good, but we would manufacture them. And Gail came up with the you can talk about the slapping and stuff, but yeah, Carlene was an amazing slapper. So yeah. Go ahead.
Gail was very, very, very disciplined and very challenging to play under, and had the transfer portal been in place my first year, I might have jumped in it. It was my first year.
We're glad you stayed.
Yeah, I'm glad I stayed as well. The first week I arrived here, Gail switched me from being a middle infielder and right-handed hitter to a slap hitter, and pushed me out into the outfield because I didn't have a strong enough arm, and I was quick. And hindsight, I at the time I wasn't in love with that move, but hindsight, that was the absolute best thing she could have done with me, because I was not a strong hitter at all, but I did have speed, and that I was able to manufacture a lot of hits based on my speed.
Carlene led the nation in hitting.
And you're still the career hits leader,
yes,
is that
career
correct?
hits leader.
So it must have worked out really well.
It worked out very well.
Yeah, I set 2 NCAA records for season hits, and still the career hits holder here. And
now batting number 3.
Well, as they both said, Gail was very disciplined, very structured, had very high expectations for all of us, would push us. And I think that opportunity allowed all of us to be resilient, to step up, to actually probably play better than we may have. And as Pam said, one of the terms that they used at the World Series in '86 was, this Indiana team is scrappy. We were the only team that scored on the team that ended up winning. So that gives you a little insight to how diligent we were.
And then I was lucky enough to follow Gail to Iowa, and I ended up coaching with her at Iowa. And once you win, go to the World Series and are successful, and trying to build another program, she went right into Iowa and took them to the World Series too. So it's not, obviously, she's super good. It was a great experience, and so that's the and then Diane Stevenson ended up coaching at Indiana, so we coached against her. I mean but it ended up being. The coaching world is a small world, obviously, and they all are still great friends and hang out with each other. And if you look at the coaching stratosphere, Hutch and Gail, and they're all way up there as far as people that have the respect of the softball world.
But again, one common thread we've heard with the respect they have for each other, but the friendship, and you rely on each other, and and it is a small fraternity or sorority, but it's sharing of things, and it's not selfishness. It's for the good of the game, and that's the kind of thing that we may not see a lot of anymore, but certainly that generation kind of brought it to the forefront. One thing you may, I'm sure you've heard about already, IU just recently launched the Women's Excellence Initiative, not only in coinciding with the anniversary of Title IX, but to raise money, but also raise the bar for women's athletics where it should be at Indiana University. And we're hoping to be a national leader in that type of thing. Simple question, what does women's excellence mean to you?
I think it's people finding and discovering who they are and bringing out their strengths and operating from their strengths and being able then, as we talked about that fraternity, to share it with one another. When you're part of a team, we didn't look at, oh my God, it's Carlene and she's got to do all this. It was, we did this together. Pam doing her thing, Amy doing her thing, whatever it was, that was the excellence as a group, and using from that strength, I think.
I think in addition to what Caroline was saying was that you're preparing these women to go out into the world, and they're going to have careers beyond their softball, and we want them to be as successful as possible. And the tools that are at their disposal here that we have seen this weekend, the facilities, the amazing coaches, that's really going to help prepare them to be successful beyond the field.
Yeah, I mean, you look at women's athletics, and all I can say is there's nothing like sport to build confidence and determination and all what they call boardroom skills. People that are going into business or any world, whatever, any subject. But I'm a physical therapist, and so I work with people and trying to coach them and all that stuff. And all I can say is it's helped me have a lot more confidence in being able to do what I wanted to do and go back to school at a later age and all those things. So coaching, I mean, playing a sport and having teamwork and all that stuff was a huge part of all of us building where we are now and what we've done in our lives, and so.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you guys want to go back and watch the game. The Hoosiers still have a 3-0 lead. So, but again, thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for everything that you've done for Indiana University in athletics. We do have one more thing. If you can, look into the camera and say, "Together, we are Hoosiers."
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
We are Hoosiers.
That works. That works. And then if you can, sign the posters there.
That's right. It's the counselor and me.
Thank you so much.
And again, the Hoosiers lead 3-0. We are in the top of the 7th here. And we'll take a break. and welcome back here. And we have another group. And if you can, let us know who you are, what years you played, and where you're from. Whoever wants to start.
Hi, I'm Linda Cotter, and I played from 1968 through 1970. And I currently live in California, Rohnert Park, Sonoma County, North Bay, Northern California.
Awesome.
I'm Ellen J. I played 1 year in 1968 because they didn't have a team the previous 3 years when I was on campus. I did field hockey and basketball, but I had to wait to be able to play softball. I lived in Silver Spring, Maryland for 50 years after I graduated, and I have recently moved back here to Bloomington 3 years ago.
Awesome.
My name is Linda Bentz. I played from 69 to 73, and I'm from Kokomo, Indiana.
Awesome. Awesome.
Well, we've observed part of this, but you had things going on last night. You got things going on tomorrow. Your impressions of this whole weekend, this entire thing. The smiles are contagious, and no one has stopped smiling since they got here. So.
Well, this has been a long time coming because I think we had one chance 1 year when they called some alumni back, and I think there was about 10 of us that showed up, and we weren't really welcomed that much. So this has just been mind-blowing, and it's really hard to describe.
I never knew about any earlier ones, but this one I was on the lookout for, and we're just being treated like royalty. I guess maybe because, I don't know whether you feel the same thing, I've been called the Grande Dame because it was the first year, I'm probably the oldest one here, but it's been fun. The kids have made us feel welcome, the coaching staff, everybody. It's a cool weekend.
I echo what my former teammates are saying. It's a thrill every time I get a chance to come back to IU, and I couldn't be more grateful and appreciative of everything the university does, the athletic department, folks like you that are trying to capture the history of the sports at Indiana University, especially the coaches, softball crew, Shonda Stanton and Chanda Bell and Gabby Jenkins and Grayson Radcliffe, Cassie, the ops manager, everybody on the staff has just gone overboard to make us feel welcome. A lot of festivities, but even more than that is the spirit that they convey. They're so sincere, they really appreciate the history, and the players are also conveying that same emotion, that they know what it took to climb up to where they are, and they are just showering us with respect, affection, and like we said, we're really eating it up. It's a great group, and couldn't be happier and more grateful to be here.
Some of the things we've been talking about off camera and even with our other guests have been the early coaches. Describe just what could you tell us about the coaches that you played for? And some of them have not been preserved as far as the archives, and there's very little of the early days, especially the pre-varsity days. What can you tell us about your coaches?
Well, I remember our first coach was a grad assistant by the name of Karen Womack, and I believe she only was with the program for a year. But anybody in the physical education department that was easing sports for women into the curriculum or into the campus scene, they kind of had a secret bit of competitiveness in them. Back then, women's athletics were not very encouraged, supported, and even considered very proper. Competition was supposed to be for fun, not for wins and losses, and we were hungry to play hard and represent the university, and I think some of the early coaches felt the same way, but they weren't full-time coaches, so they were kind of reflecting the current philosophy in the country and certainly at the university. But we did have some great coaches, and just being able to be part of the beginning of something was very, very important to us.
The one thing I remember with our first grad assist coach, at this point I wouldn't remember her name, that was like 50-some years ago, but she had bought a red sports car. We had a 4-game season that year, and somewhere in the middle of that, a bunch of us were coming out after a practice, and we got the idea, let's put a note under her windshield. and we said, gee, we're really sorry, it looks new. And then we put my phone number on it, and we waited for her to come out. And she walked around and around and around looking for whatever it was and there was nothing there. She never bothered to make a phone call or anything. We just thought we'd have a little fun with her. So we had fun besides the softball side of it. She wasn't that much older than we were. As a senior, she was probably only a couple of years older than we were and stuff. But we had a good time, and as you say, the spirit and the we played for the pure joy of playing. There wasn't anything else in it for us, and so we were all kind of the same spirit.
Yeah, I had 4 different coaches, a different coach every year, and like Linda said, it was a grad assistant, but they were really into it. I mean, we lacked for nothing as far as coaching. We just didn't have continuity, but back then it didn't mean all that much. We were just mainly here to play ball, and that was quite an honor to be able to play here.
You took different paths here, and probably for different reasons. And a couple of you, are you all multi-sport athletes? What else did you play?
I played softball and basketball, and basketball was a little more established. The program began a couple years before I started as a freshman in 1966, so we had already gotten started with that. But when softball started in 1968, a lot of the same athletes did show up to be part of that program. So
I played field hockey and basketball all 4 years that I was here, 64 to 67. Softball was my favorite sport, and I was delighted when it finally came to us that I could at least play 1 year for it.
I was able to play 2 years of volleyball also, besides the 4 years of softball. But when I first came, I just wanted to play. I didn't care really what, and I tried out for the basketball team, and I was cut. I was brokenhearted. I mean, that was devastating. But I went on to volleyball, tried out, and made that team.
The student-athlete experience resembles nothing like what you got. What's an enduring memory that you have of those days? Something that maybe the current kids would have absolutely no idea about, or just some things that have stayed with you as for some of the memorable things about those days.
I would say we were invisible. Nobody cared whether we played. We cared because we played, and we played because we cared about it, but there was no coverage in the IDS. There was no coverage anywhere else. In fact, they didn't even keep lists of who was on the team. We're trying to put this together, as we'd mentioned, for field hockey. We went through all the IDS microfiche in the library. Maybe a 2-sentence indication that something happened, but there was just no coverage. Other students didn't know anything about the fact that we were out there on Woodlawn Field playing or whatever. It's, I say, basically invisibility was the main thing that I remember.
Basically, when we came, we didn't really know what we were missing. The kids now have a lot of publicity, and they've got the Big Ten Network and that, but we didn't really know. We just wanted to play ball, and that was our main objective.
Probably nothing before high school. None of this elementary school stuff and travel teams and all that kind of stuff, they didn't exist. You were lucky if your high school had a team and you could play there.
Yeah. I think what I remember most is that we were representing the university with our competition. We might not have great uniforms, we might not have shoes and transportation, but once we stepped on the court or on the field, we felt that we were representing the university just as much as I think the kids are today without that support. But that's one of my biggest memories, that it meant something to us. Regardless, we still knew what we were representing, and that was a great thing that was present without the support kinds of things that our student athletes are fortunate to enjoy now.
But with that support, they have a lot more pressure on them and responsibility than we did, which I'm not sure I would be happier playing in these conditions. There are good things and there are bad things, but
that's right.
It's a different time, different set of rules.
As you well know, I'm sure it's been mentioned to you over the IU recently launched the Women's Excellence Initiative, not only in observance of 50 years of Title IX, but to raise the bar for women's athletics and raise the bar and become a national leader in that regard, not only financially but also opportunity-wise. What does women's excellence mean to you?
I guess what I'm most aware of is the academic support, the nutrition support, the leadership support. All those kinds of skills are worked into in addition to the athletic side of it. Obviously, it has a major donor contribution piece of it too, but I'm more aware of some of these non-athletic pieces that they're being exposed to.
Yeah, I think I know that having coached and been at the college level for part of my career, that I know there's pressure to win, and in order to compete with other schools, you have to provide the kind of facilities and kind of fringe things. But what I think IU differs in is that there's so much sincerity in what they do. They're not just doing it to get the recruiting edge or to get the competitive difference. I think they really care about the student athlete, and they care about the student athlete's future. And I hear that from our coaches here on the softball team. I hear it from other coaches, men's sport coaches, that they've got their priorities in line, and as much as they want to win, they also want to help their student athletes for the rest of their careers and lives. So
that's awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, we can't thank you enough for taking the time. Are you going down to batting practice? Are you going to get some swings in today?
Get some cuts.
Get some cuts in.
We're soaking it all up.
As long as they don't pitch at the level they pitched to
Right.
I might have a chance.
Well, thank you so much for everything that you've done. Thank you for everything that you've done for Indiana. And we do have one more thing. If you can, look right to the camera and say, "Together, we are Hoosiers." Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Together, we are Hoosiers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
And if
taking
you
the time.
can,
Linda, and Ellen.
sign the
Thank you.
posters here.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very
All right.
much. And we're going to take a short break here, and we're in the bottom of the 7th, and the Hoosiers lead 6-0. All right.
83.
Welcome back. We've got a big group here. Thank you for being here. I know the Hoosiers are getting ready to win, so that's a good thing. But let us know who you are, what years you played, and where you're from. We'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Sherry Schaffline. I played in the years of 82, 83, and 84, and grew up in Louisville, Kentucky.
My name's Brenda Thaler. I played in the years 81 to 84. I'm from, was originally from South Haven, Michigan. Now I live in Grand Rapids.
I'm Terry DeLuca. I played in 80, 81, 82, 83. I'm from Buffalo, New York.
Suzanne Crump now. It was Mills when I played. Grew up in Kokomo, Indiana, 82, 83, 84, and I live in Muncie, Indiana.
Awesome.
Hi there, I'm Tony Graham from Munster, Indiana, and I played here from 1979 to 1983.
Awesome. Curt, go right ahead.
This whole weekend, at least from the what little we've seen, has been terrific. From the interaction with the current team to the enthusiasm. The smiles haven't come off your faces, I'm assuming, since before you arrived yesterday. What are your impressions of this whole thing, this whole experience so far? Whoever's holding the mic.
Well, actually, this is the first time seeing the facilities, and highly impressed. When we played, we had a bench. That's about it. Before our dugouts came in, I believe it was 83. And we thought we just won the lottery. And it was just simple dugouts, and our field was up over the hill there. So, yeah, they have no idea how fortunate they are.
I've felt a sense of connection with all of the girls. You can just see with all the number of people that have showed up, just this continuity of pride and continuity of support, and feeling like we're all supporting the team and want to see them continue in the future to just be stars.
And I also think the current coaching staff has done a great job in making us all feel welcome. Not only this weekend, but those of us that will be able to come back and watch over the course of the last couple of years. It's just been a welcome home feeling from the get-go, so that's been fun. And catching up on all the stories that we haven't seen each other for a while, so that's tons of fun that we've been able to do here the last couple of days.
When I speak to the current team, they ask, how did the 83 World Series team do it? How did we win Big Tens, and how did we get to the World Series? And I said, we were Leo before Tom Allen was on campus,
right.
okay? Because we got together as upperclassmen and said, our 3 freshmen have to contribute this year. And we welcomed them in and helped them adapt to our game plans, our strategies, our systems, and they had to contribute because we only carried 14 players back then, not the 22 they have the luxury of today. So you had to wear many hats and be willing to dig in and play, and that was, when I tell this story, I said it was the best team I ever played on.
Right. Anybody else? No. So, I've got a question, and I know we've asked this to other, is why IU?
So I grew up in Indiana watching Indiana men's basketball, and we were just IU fans, so I was coming to Bloomington. And I stepped on campus when my parents dropped me off at the dorm, didn't visit, just I was going to IU, and then decided to walk on or try out, and got the call that I made the team. So the rest is kind of history, and
right?
You know, some of the best friends we have are the people that we meet in college, and I think that's still true today.
Right.
So I came here because I was extremely interested in the SPIA program in environmental science, and wanted to play sports here, and walked on field hockey to start with, and played field hockey for 3 years. And then coach asked me to try out for the softball team when the hockey team was stopped back in 81, and tried out and made the team, and then just continued staying on the team the balance of my career, and played a year during grad school as well, and just loved every minute of it.
And just to let you guys know, game's over, Hoosiers win, so that's
All
right.
right.
Nice win. I came to IU. My sister and I were twins, and we were recruited together. So Gail didn't have a problem with the recruiting twins together. Some colleges would balk at that, but the thing is, what they don't realize is twins are stronger together. Okay, they complement each other. There's different things that they're just stronger together. So we were very fortunate that they felt that way. So we came down here, and then I majored in public finance through the SPIA school, and Linda was in business.
Well, I'm Terry DeLuca, and I'm from Buffalo, New York. One of my teammates from high school was here on a partial scholarship and encouraged me to come out here, and it was a last-minute decision. And I know that 4 of the 5 of us sitting here right now were walk-ons, and I think we had something to prove, and I think that made us who we are today.
Well said.
Yeah.
I chose Indiana because of the business school. So having grown up a 4-sport athlete, I knew that I needed to channel my competitive spirit in some way that didn't involve coaching, because there wasn't a lot of money in coaching in women's sports at the time. But I loved business, and the Kelly School of Business set me up, as did playing Big Ten and NCAA sports, set me up for success. And so it was easy to choose IU because of the Kelly School of Business. I also was a walk-on. Terry and I walked on at the same time together. We tried out from August through February to know we made the team in February before we went on spring break the first week of March.
Wow.
I'm sure the memories are coming back thick this weekend. Is there an enduring memory or just a feeling that has stayed with you since your time here? Just one thing.
Well, I think for the 83 team, winning the Big Ten championship and obviously playing the College World Series was huge. Kind of continue the tradition from the two teams prior to that, obviously continued after that. So coming in as a walk-on, truthfully never played fast-pitch softball, and being a part of that was something you'll never forget.
I would also add to that, without a doubt, the competitive spirit on the team. That was the best part, is playing the games. But then after that, the road trips. We played euchre on the bus, we played music, we were always singing and having fun and poking fun at each other. Still are.
That's right.
And the road trips, I actually didn't like home games because I wasn't around my teammates. We just came to the field. At least when you're on a road trip, you're on the bus together, you're in the hotel together, and the energy and the vibrations are just rising for you to go right into the game. So, but road trips were a blast.
Ditto.
Ditto.
That's well said.
One of the things we've talked about with everybody, and you probably have been exposed to this already, but IU just recently launched the Women's Excellence Initiative, not only in observance of 50 years of Title IX, but to raise the bar and set the standard even beyond what it currently is, and to try to be a national leader in that regard. Simple question, simple maybe. What does women's excellence mean to you?
I would say complete confidence in everything that you do, right? That you take the confidence you built from sports and playing and the intensity, but then you start to channel it into all your life endeavors so that you are always trying to achieve and excel in everything that you do. We had academics, everyone did well in school this year, everyone did well in their career afterwards, and I'm sure it's because of the success of playing softball and the camaraderie and learning how to work with people and lead. Watch good leaders and then apply all that in our daily lives.
I would echo those sentiments. And the one thing is, I feel that I took as many opportunities that were presented to me, as well as I came out pretty well rounded. Some here might say I was one-sided, but really, it actually gave me a launching pad to grow even more and continue my studies, continue learning more in the business world.
I also think because of the foundation we were a part of, lifting up the current players, the current athletes, and trying to help them be successful as they graduate and move off into the real world and experience the same things that we've gotten to experience. But I think that's part of our job and legacy, is to try to lift them up as well.
I really enjoy interacting with the current teams, and this weekend I've met more alum that I didn't know who graduated in the 90s and early 2000s, and I think as a result there's going to be more support for women's sports, especially this program. And so when you look at the Women's Excellence Academy, the fact that we can invest in our future and designate where we want those dollars to go into women's softball as opposed to just going in a general fund, that means the world, because I know how I'd like to contribute and what I'd like to see that go to.
Awesome.
Well, I just want to reiterate what Tony said. I gladly giving back to the college and donating in money, because they've made me who I am, and the success that I've had in my, academic. I was a teacher, and I'm retired, and just living the life, living the dream.
Right? That's right.
It's all through, through all my athletics at Indiana, just made me who I am.
Awesome. Now, I see him setting up for batting practice, so who's going down there to take some cuts?
No, I took my cuts at the golf course this morning. Plenty of them.
That's right. But go ahead.
One more assignment we have for you. And to get together in a count of three, look into the camera and say, "Together we are Hoosiers."
1, 2, 3.
Together we are Hoosiers.
Awesome. Thank you so much for everything.
It was a lot of fun.
Enjoy batting practice.
Thanks, Curt.
And and enjoy the weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you can,
appreciate it, hon.
yes, if you can sign the posters here.
All right.
Thank you so much. All right, welcome back here, and we've got one more interview. You guys are our last ones today. Everybody else is down on the field for batting practice, but thanks for being here. Let us know who you are, what years you played, and where you're from.
Okay, I guess I'll go first.
Yeah.
My name is Pam Amabile. I played here from 1979 till 1981, and I'm from the Buffalo, New York area.
Awesome. That's our third, I think,
What
third or fourth.
all the Buffalo people.
We're all related.
Yeah.
My name's Jake Jacobowski. I'm from Wonder Lake, Illinois. Played 77 to 81, and just very proud to be part of that team that was able to go to the World Series a couple times, a couple Big Ten championships, and a couple of Midwest regional titles as well.
Right, right.
Your impressions of this whole weekend, and it's not over because we're going to go down and take some cuts, and you have more activities tomorrow. What's this whole weekend meant to you so far?
Oh, well, it's almost overwhelming. I mean, I knew it was going to be nice, but I didn't know it was going to be this great. It's just been wonderful. I mean, everything that they put into this, the time and the effort, I mean, just can't thank everyone enough. It's just been wonderful, and there's more to come, like you said, for tomorrow, so I'm very much looking forward to that.
It's been very welcoming. Hugs all around. From both, Team 50 that we're just meeting and the coaches, and again, over the top, just lots of really neat little touches, from a ride to and from the field with a golf cart. I mean, some simple things that you may not have thought of,
Right.
They did. I think they thought of everything. So very welcoming and just a lot of camaraderie. It's awesome.
We've asked this to everybody. First of all, why IU? And then something about a memory about the coaches you played for. What was that like?
Okay, why IU was because it was the only softball scholarship that I was offered. So obviously,
Easy choice,
you're
right?
You're going to go in that direction.
They recruited Buffalo pretty well, it sounds like.
Yeah, it started with Donna Michalek, who's not here, but she was the first pitcher that they recruited from that area, and I played on the same ball team as her. So that's why I came here, and I went to junior college first and kind of used that as a stepping stone to get here, but we had a lot of success at the junior college level, and so it was just a natural progression, I guess. But boy, when I got here, it was an eye-opener, because it's a big difference between, even academically, from a junior college to coming to a Big Ten school. So I knew I had to work hard, and I did just that, because I didn't want to let anybody down. I didn't want to let Coach down, my parents, myself. I mean, yeah, it was a wonderful experience and very rewarding when you look back on it.
So I came down my senior year, high school, just have a look at the university, and it was so welcoming from the start with the athletic department, but also everywhere I went in town. And I never really knew about the y'all or you all till I got here, but there's a little bit of what I call the Hoosier twang. Very inviting, the people very warm. And I walked the campus, and it was just beautiful. And here I was coming from a small Catholic high school of 500 or 600 in Woodstock, Illinois. And I knew I was coming to a very large place, but it never felt large when I was here. Lots of mileage of the campus, but it never felt like I wasn't important here or welcome here. So I'd have to say that. And then as far as coaches go, I coached, it was coached by Ann Lawver and a gentleman named Bill Galloway my freshman year. And again, the same thing. Bill very hard-nosed, Ann a little softer, but still.
Somebody just went yard.
Not just necessarily demanding, but well coached, and I really grew as a player and individual as a result.
I didn't answer the question about the coaching staff. I forgot about that one. Gail Blevins was the head coach when I got here, and again, it was a step up. Not that I had bad coaching where I was, but it was just a whole different level, and oh my God, I just had so much respect and admiration for her because I just thought she was awesome. And I loved playing for her because, like I said, I respected her so much, and she just was so good with decision making and strategy and all of that. And so you can just appreciate it when you see good coaching. And, you know, when I left here, I was like, I always tell people, like, Gail was one of the best coaches I ever played for, and I played a lot of ball after I left here. So, yeah, she was up there with one of the best.
And I can add to that as well regarding Blevins is she's a very heady coach, and as a result, we were a very heady team. There wasn't a pitch or a play, I should back it up, an at-bat where you weren't ready for the very next pitch on defense. We were such a strong defensive team and lucky to have good hitters as well, so that takes you to that'll get you to nationals, but a very heady coach and a heady team as a result.
Moni Armendariz is doing her Aaron Judge impression down there right now.
Yeah, I think she's hit 2 out so far.
There's another one. That's on the bypass.
He's vomiting.
Yeah, she is.
Are there enduring memories that you've taken, experiences that you've taken from your days here that have helped you and kind of stayed with you your whole life and been part of your success?
Well, for me, because I was a junior college transfer when I came in, you know, I knew I wasn't going to be the top of the pitching chart, and I knew that I would have to work extremely hard, and that's exactly what I did. And, you know, fortunately for me, I had a tremendous work ethic. I mean, I was all about practicing and getting better. Like, you didn't go to practice to waste your time. You went to practice to get better, and I fully bought into that. And, you know, it made me a better player. And when I went on to coach myself for 32 years, actually I'm still teaching pitching, but I try to impress that on the kids as much as I can. Like, there's no substitute for hard work, and you have to put the time in. It just doesn't happen by accident. So, yes, definitely the work ethic and putting the time in, because, I mean, you have players that come here all the time and they have a great deal of athletic ability. And some people not quite as much, and so you know you have to work extra hard to get to that same level.
Good. Interesting for me here because I did not play softball in high school. I played tennis, volleyball, and ran track, but I played on some pretty good summer ball teams. So it was a real eye-opener here to step in and not be, you know, the best athlete on the field. So that was an awakening. And again, it makes you work harder. And then my senior year didn't go quite the way I thought it would as far as starting or playing time. And you just have to figure out, how am I going to deal with this, and other ways you can help the team, and what is my role on this team? So realizing your role on the team and fulfilling that.
Yeah, I know you guys probably want to get down there on the field, so we'll just have you do one more thing for us. And again, I can't thank you enough for taking the time. But if you can, look into the camera and say, together, we are Hoosiers. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
We are Hoosiers.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Go
so
down
much.
there, enjoy yourselves, and enjoy the rest of the
Thank
weekend.
you.
Thank you so much for being here.
All right.
Curt.
Okay.
Well,
My name's Aaron.
They're
Yes,
littering.
thank you.
They're littering the outfield berm with home run balls.
Yes, they
They
are.
are putting on a show.
And this is the alumni. There goes one.
Yeah, you want to wrap or you want to go?
We'll wrap it up here. Nothing. We're on the Eye Association board. Yep.
Simic, S-I-M-I-C.
All right. Well, Curt, I think that's a very well done job today.
What a great thing to be a part of. We appreciate everybody, Tony Gray and the coaching staff, Coach Stanton, Brian Brazzi, and everyone else allowing us to tag along and be part of the fun. And this was tremendous. It's always an honor and a pleasure to visit with these people. And no matter what, we keep hearing the same thing. We played for the love of it.
That's right.
IU is special because, but my teammates were the thing, played for. This never gets old, and this was really neat to be a part of, especially with the game as the backdrop.
That's right. That's right. They're watching alumni batting practice right now. But again, everybody, Curt, thank you so much. We're going to end it right here. But again, thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day. And then everybody, for I Association Live, we'll catch you next time. Not sure when, but we'll let you know, and we'll go from there. Sound good?
Sounds good. Thanks,
All
partner.
Right. Yep. We'll see you next time. Thanks.